Alright, so today I'm in the beautiful mountains of Pennsylvania. It's about 6 in the morning, and I'm just now beginning a hike that should bring me up into some pretty good snake habitat. My destination for today is this Talus slope in a pretty remote area in central Pennsylvania. And my plan to get there is to take a trail up through this hollow, and then leave the trail and climb up onto this ridge. And then from there, I simply have to walk down the ridge until I find it. However, it quickly becomes apparent that things look a lot smaller on Google Earth. Either way, this journey was well worth it for the beautiful scenery alone. As I climbed higher and higher through the hollow, the plants started to grow very thick around the trail, and I started to wonder if it would even be possible to bushwhack my way up this ridge. Alright, so I've been hiking on this trail for a while now, but I made it to the point where to make it to where I want to go, I'm going to have to leave the trail and hike up onto a ridge. This is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult. Luckily, the plants weren't as thick in some areas, although they were still pretty bad in others. Despite the endless lowbush blueberry and mountain laurel, I eventually made my way up. Alright, I made it to the top of the ridge. That was one of the most difficult hikes I've done. It wasn't long, but with no trail, everything's so overgrown, and it's really steep, and everything's so wet right now. Not fun, but also kind of fun, because now I'm here. Look at this. So yeah, I'm gonna hike down the ridge until I get to a Talus slope, should be up there. And now I'm just really hoping there's a snake there. So yeah, let's get to it. Unfortunately, the ridgeline wasn't much better, but I slowly made my way nevertheless. Occasionally, I got some nice rocks to walk on to escape the plants. This was already starting to look like some pretty good habitat for timber rattlesnakes, which just gave me another reason to stay out of the plants. Luckily for me, the ridge continued to get rockier and rockier, and the thick underbrush all but disappeared, and I could tell I was getting close. As I continued down this rocky section of the ridge, it started to get really narrow, and eventually not even the trees were growing on it. Well, this ridge just got super rocky and open, and this is some really good timber rattlesnake habitat, so I really hope I can find something in here right now. Also, the conditions feel really good. As I searched through more and more habitat without finding anything, I started getting worried that all my hard work might be for nothing. Alright, so I looked all along this ridgeline, but I didn't find anything yet, surprisingly. But I didn't make it to the Talus slope yet, so there still might be some snakes out there. I think now's a good time to discuss this Talus slope habitat I keep talking about. These open rocky slopes can be found throughout the Ridge and Valley region of Pennsylvania, and they offer excellent habitat for timber rattlesnakes and copperheads, as well as many other species. On top of that, they often have some amazing views. One minor caveat with these Talus slopes is that, at least from my experience, they often only have snakes when located on the south-facing side of a mountain, which receives more direct sunlight than the north side. Alright, so I just climbed down from that rocky ridgeline up there, and now I'm at the top of the Talus slope. There's a nice view up here. That is awesome. I really hope there are some timber rattlesnakes in here. Alright, here's another view, and here's another look at this Talus slope. Definitely looks like some good habitat, but I'm gonna have to be really careful and take it really slow. There are a lot of places for snakes to hide in here. Alright, so I didn't find anything up in that upper section, but there's an entire lower section that's even bigger down here. Given the size of this lower section of the Talus slope, I was sure there would be a snake somewhere, and luckily, I wouldn't have to wait long. I just spotted a copperhead way down there, so I don't know if I'll be able to get you guys a very close look at it. It might dart down into the rocks by the time I get there, but let's see. Alright, so I was able to work my way down here, and he's still here. That is a big and beautiful copperhead. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful snake. Copperheads are highly venomous, although bites to humans are rarely fatal with proper medical care. Like timber rattlesnakes, copperheads are pit vipers, which means they can see infrared because of these sensory pits in front of their eyes. They are decently common throughout much of Pennsylvania, but I rarely see them in this area, so this was a very welcome find. Well, unfortunately that guy made his way deeper down into the rocks. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Usually in this sort of habitat, that would be one of the main species I expect to find. But in this area, they are very uncommon, so I'm really happy about that. As more and more habitat passed by, I couldn't believe I hadn't found a rattlesnake yet. I even found some shed skin from one, so I knew I was looking in the right place. Finally, I heard the sound I was listening for. Well, I got a rattlesnake below my feet somewhere. I can't see it, but I can hear it. Let's see if I can find a different angle, maybe get a better look at this guy. Well, unfortunately, no matter what angle I get with my flashlight, I just can't find this guy. He's right down here somewhere, I can hear him, and somehow he can see me, but I just cannot find him. So I might just have to move on. So I climbed back up to the ridgeline and didn't find anything else, but I think now's a pretty good time to describe today's conditions. So I don't have service, so I don't know exactly what the temperature is, but it feels like it's in the mid 70s and pretty humid. But luckily, it's overcast, which means the rocks don't heat up too much and the snakes are still active to some extent. The one thing going against me today is that it's July, so a lot of the rattlesnakes and copperheads have dispersed throughout the surrounding woodland, and not many of them are still up in these talus slopes. Either way, I would say today was definitely a success. I got a good look at least one snake, and then I heard another one, and I had an awesome hike. But either way, I'm gonna end the video here because I gotta climb back down this mountain. So yeah, I hope you learned something, and thanks for watching.